Good evening. Thank you for joining us. First tonight, the fallout continues from the latest investigation into Baton Rouge police. 4 officers facing charges of corruption in connection to a beating and tasing incident 3 years ago. We were the first to tell you about the charges Thursday morning. Arrest documents obtained by the WBRZ investigative unit are painting a picture of an apparent cover-up by members of the street crimes unit, including their leader at the time, Troy Lawrence Sr. The warrants show it was Officer Todd Thomas who punched a man several times while being processed. According to a BRPD officer who witnessed the incident, Thomas then accessed an app to view the footage. That's when, according to the warrant, Troy Lawrence Sr. looked at the video and told Thomas he had to get rid of it. All of this happened at BRPD's 1st District, and the investigation began only a month ago.
True reform requires a close look at our practices, our policies, as well as our culture. And it demands that we learn from our missteps and commit to transparency and embrace change. We must continue to build trust with the community we serve, and that means by actively engaging with our community, listening to your concerns, and making the necessary improvements.
To put it in terms that you can relate to, this is not a time for just an annual checkup. This is time for a full body MRI to diagnose and reveal any dysfunctions or wrongdoings. I owe that to the officers of the Baton Rouge Police Department, and I owe it to every citizen in Baton Rouge.
Now, the arrest adding a load of work for District Attorney Healer Moore. He says all of those past cases involving these officers will now need a complete review. News 2's Alexis Merity is joining us now. What's that process going to look like?
Sylvia, Moore says cases involving the officers will be handled like any other. Still, those files are piling up on his desk. 4 Baton Rouge officers charged with corruption.
I'm going to treat them just like we treat anyone else. And but it will cause a significant amount of work.
Now the district attorney's office is starting from square one.
Again, these are officers who work lots of hours in lots of cases. And they're the ones that we generally see that are involving guns and violent crime. And so, you know, that's what is concerning to me.
Reviewing the cases those officers initially investigated, that number totaling to nearly 1,000 cases.
I'm really not sure how we're going to handle the capacity of it, because we're pretty overloaded as it is as we speak.
To handle the workload, Moore says it's likely the office will bring in extra help. That could include counsel that isn't as familiar with the officers.
And these officers were very active officers that handled a lot of cases involving a lot of people that have some substantial records.
Now it's a matter of picking up the pieces and getting started.
So right now what the plan is to find out what the whole universe is of cases that could potentially be impacted.
They'll determine what role the officers played in that particular case and whether it's still provable without them. Even still, Moore insists these officers won't be treated any different.
These officers are also presumed innocent, just like anyone else. You know, right now we have allegations, and does one person's right weigh more than others?
And Moore says it's unlikely he will choose to recuse himself from these cases. He is urging the public, though, to send tips. He says the office will look at any complaint that they provide.
Alexis, thank you. A class action lawsuit was filed against the Baton Rouge Police Department today, alleging officers habitually strip search people without justification. The suit claims numerous police were stripped down, people were stripped down in an effort to humiliate, denigrate, and intimidate them. This as multiple people came forward saying they were unlawfully strip searched in a makeshift interrogation site that officers called the Brave Cave. A separate lawsuit exposed the warehouse used by the now dissolved street crimes unit. Now, you can find all of our recent stories on Baton Rouge Police on our website at WBRZ.com. It includes the investigative unit reports, statements from officials, and much more.